Welcome back, everybody, and this is Shooting Gallery. My name is Joe. I want to thank you guys for watching. Today we have a long anticipated review of the Bear Creek Arsenal BC9 Bufferless 9mm carbine, and then we'll get into the review. Alright guys, so for a good minute now, I have had this Bear Creek Arsenal BC9 AR9 style. It's an AR-15 type gun. It's a right side charging handle, bufferless design. So if you think along the lines of, say, like an MCX or MPX, anything that is a 1913 Picatinny rail, it doesn't have a traditional buffer tube. This has a Midwest Industries triangle side folder on it that I actually picked up from Walter Keller, Safety Harbor Firearms. So big shout out to Walter for letting me shoot this. But guys, I have had this for a few months now, and every time I take it to the range, this is with me every single time. So before we get into the specs, I would just like to point out, yes, Bear Creek Arsenal did provide this to the channel. They are actually huge supporters of the channel, so we really want to thank Bear Creek Arsenal for sending this gun out, and this is one hell of a gun. But let's get into the specs, and I'll tell you what's going on. As it comes from the factory, there's a few things that you have to remember when you buy this gun. First off, it does not come with a stock. When you buy the BC9 16-inch rifle from the factory, it's going to come with the 1913 Picatinny rail, and it's not going to come with a stock, and it's not going to come with a magazine. The good thing about the BC9 is that it takes Glock mag, so if you guys are any type of gun owner that probably has some type of Glock 19 to Glock 17 variant that takes any of those mags, you're going to have mags on tap, but they do sell mags on the website. You will need a 1913 compatible stock for this gun. The good thing is this is side folding, so you can go through any place like, you know, Brown Owls or you name it that sells stocks like this. You can get a side folder. You can get, say, the Strike Industries, they make some stocks, JMac Customs, you name it, and you're able to have a side folder. But as it sits, this gun comes as it comes from the factory. Obviously it's a 9mm. I have the spec sheet right here so I get you the right information. It is a pistol length bufferless rifle, has a 16-inch M4 profile barrel with a Parkerized finish on the barrel. It features a 1 in 10 twist rate as a blowback gas system design. So again, think of any type of blowback gun you've ever shot, same design as here. It includes a 15-inch M-lock rail with a M4 flat top upper receiver, and it has a proprietary Bear Creek Arsenal bolt carrier group. So it's going to have the proprietary bolt carrier group. It's going to have their very famous flash hider, and then you can either have it in a left side or right side charging, depending on what type of shooter you are. And I think the Gen 2s now are coming with left side charging. It also has it's just going to come with your standard mil spec AR9 parts kit and trigger. It's also compatible. It says it's compatible with Glock magazines. Cool. So that is the pretty much nitty gritty specs. I don't get into, like, you know, they're made out of billet aluminum. Okay, cool. I don't get into like that, you know, detail of specs, but that is what you're going to get from the factory. Remember, it doesn't come with a mag, and it's not going to come with a stock. So from there, you can customize it from there.
Right. Hey, what's up, man? How are you?
Now that you've heard the specs, let's get into what I've done to this rifle since I've had it. So it comes with your A2 pistol grip. You guys all know I hate A2 pistol grips, so I was like, Nope, gotta go. So when I sold my original AR-15 I built, I kept a lot of the parts that I included into it. So what I did was I upgraded to the Strike Industries overmolded extra large grip because I got Andre the Giant size hands. I included the Geisley Super Dynamic Combat flat face trigger. This thing is just dead sex. Then I also included some of the Magpul plastic handguard M-Lock rail covers, and I have a QD attachment here because I also have QD on the rear, and then we put the Gideon Optics Advocate on here. I just put that review out. It should be here or here, wherever it shows up on the screen. Check out that review and check out Gideon Optics. They are big supporters of the channel. So, the Bear Creek Arsenal, it is, if you're into kind of tinkering with AR-15s, this is actually a great rifle to get into because you can tinker with it. If you're familiar with working on ARs, you're gonna be familiar with working on this gun here. Same rules apply, same, basic trigger and, adding attachments, all that stuff is going to apply. So I ended up adding all that stuff and it became a world of difference. I'm gonna show you the target right now. So far I've had just about 800 rounds through this gun. I've tested a bunch of different mags through it. I've tried a few different bits of ammunition through it, and this thing is awesome. I went to my local gun range this weekend. It was hot as hell. Oh my god, it was bad. I had to tap out after like an hour and a half. This South Florida heat is rough, so comment down below if you're experiencing the South Florida heat right now. So this is my target so far. It's, just kind of working through it. Pretty much center mass at, say, I'm gonna go with, I think I was at 15-20 yards. That's how long my distance is. So this target here is, this is me trying to kind of sight in some defensive loads. I was not shooting from a rest, and I was shooting offhand just to see how it would cycle. I've shot a lot of hollow points through this as well to make sure it runs. I have not cleaned it at all, and this thing has not missed a beat. So that is kind of the action you're going to expect for most people going to their local gun range that probably only have 25 yards. So you're going to get very good accuracy out of the BC9 from Bear Creek Arsenal. Alright, so I want to get into the pros and cons of what you're going to expect with the BC9. So, first off, my big concern with this gun is when you hear of Bear Creek Arsenal, first of all, you don't realize how innovative they actually are. They actually make a lot of great firearms that not a lot of companies are making. They're actually able to have a cycling 30-06 AR-10 platform. Like, that's pretty cool. They're one of the only ones I know that does that for the price point. They are super into the builder community, but they've got this like stigma of like, oh, you get Bear Creek Arsenal, it's trash. I've shot a lot of Bear Creek Arsenal since I've even moved to Florida, and I have never had a problem. I'm talking to Walter Keller. He's got a few Bear Creek Arsenal 308s. You're able to get parts because they're able to manufacture it in the United States. Okay, they're able to make it. They want to arm everybody. So I just want to get that out of the way. Yes, some people might have a stigma when you say I have a Bear Creek Arsenal. I'm telling you right now, I don't get that. I really enjoy it. It's not just because they sent me the rifle. I've had experience with a lot of their guns. Okay, and Bear Creek Arsenal, they're able to actually get you guys firearms for an affordable price where anybody can get into not just AR-9s, AR-10s, AR-15s. They can try multiple different calibers just by shopping through Bear Creek Arsenal because the uppers that they sell, the amount of different upper pistol, the upper barrel lengths that they provide for all their different firearms. So just keep that in mind. But so the cons, I'm gonna get out of the way. The only three things I have an issue with on this rifle, and it's one, I am not a fan of this flash hider right here. I don't know why. It's a very effective flash hider. I just don't like it. All right, it's nothing like, oh, it's bad. It's not battle effective. No, I just think I'm not a fan of it. I want to take it off. I want to change it to something different, but I'm just lazy. I do not like the flash hiders that Bear Creek Arsenal puts. That's just my personal preference. You guys might be a little bit different. I am still planning on running the suppressed once I can get those mother effing suppressor parts. Sonsco doesn't include them. But as you can tell, I'm a little bit salty. But yeah, so the other con I'd have is it doesn't come with a magazine. So when you're getting into firearms, especially I'm looking at it from a newer shooter perspective. You spend the money on this. These are running for about $500 right now on Bear Creek Arsenal, and it's extremely affordable. You have the ability to use Cordova or whatever the hell it's called. Like you buy once, you buy it to pay now, and you have like multiple payments for interest or whatever, which is awesome, by the way. I think that's a great idea, going direct to consumer. That's why you're able to keep the prices down on this. But for someone who's new into firearms and they're like, oh, I got this really cool gun, I just spent $500. And they don't supply a magazine. Yes, Glock mags are probably the most abundant magazines you're going to find on the market. But that's usually, if you're going with an OEM Glock mag, that's an extra $35. So you'd have to charge an extra $35 on top. That's why they keep the price so low. I understand why. I just think at least have it come with one magazine. It doesn't have to be a 30 round. It could be a 10 depending on the state that it's getting sent to. But, you know, I think it should at least include a magazine. But I also understand that's why they're able to keep the prices so low on this. Now, my third con is I understand it's the gas system, and I'm going to have a separate video on how to clean and lubricate this gun. Taking it off, when you take this upper off, I'm not going to do it now. It's kind of like a more simplified MPX, which I think is ingenious, which is it's really a pro to this gun. It took a gun that a lot of people think it's going to be the best gun ever, and they've simplified the gas system, which I think is awesome. But taking it apart, when you pop the two front pins, you can lift this up, but then you kind of have to wiggle it. Maybe I'm just, having a hard time doing it, but again, from even a seasoned shooter, it's just it's not a pain to take apart, but it's just I don't know. Those are my only three cons about it. Now the pros, the price that it comes at, that's always going to be the number one pro for me. It's affordable. Second, they're able to go direct to consumer, which is awesome. It does, again, you're going to have to get this shipped to your FFL, and it allows you to kind of customize it right off the bat. I also really enjoy when I'm shooting this gun, and again, for YouTube's purposes, this gun is clear. I have no live ammunition, and I have no magazines around for this gun. But as you can see throughout this video, I've had some shooting footage here, and this thing is really fun to shoot. When I'm going to drop the magazine, I don't know why, but for some AR9s, I've noticed when I take my finger off the trigger, as I lift up, the magazine release button is right there. I really like the placement of it. Yes, I have upgraded the trigger and I've upgraded the pistol grip. Most people, you're gonna tailor your AR9, AR15, AR10 to whatever you like to make it, unique to you. So I like the fact that it's pretty much plug and play with pretty much all AR15 accessories. Another thing I really like about it is that it balances so well. Even with it doesn't have a buffer system, I'm able to, with it being a bufferless, I have a side folder on it. That's really compact. So if I'm trying to throw that in a bag, I don't need to get a long ass rifle bag. I can fold this up, put it in the back of my Kia Soul, and this can be ready to go whenever I'm ready. Now, those are all the pros. Again, shoots like a dream, very accurate. The price comes in, but yeah, some of the cons, I'm not a fan of the flash hider they come with. I'm not a fan of kind of taking the takedown system, because sometimes if you're coming from a new shooter and you have to get some tools. But again, that's just how the design is, and the fact that it doesn't come with a magazine. Those are my pros and cons. And one of them is I understand why they don't ship in the magazine. But again, I'm not saying that's just some things that I honestly look at in guns. Like, okay, if it doesn't come with a magazine, that's kind of the only big con. Flash hider, I can change that out. I can learn taking this apart quicker. Haven't cleaned this yet, but I have taken it apart just to kind of see how it works. But yeah, those are my only cons, and they're minuscule at best, and it's more personal preference. But those are my pros and cons of the rifle. Now, this is going to come down to pretty much any person that shoots guns. It's all about, do you like shooting it? Do you have fun shooting it? Is it something that you want to bring to the range? This gun, the shootability of this gun, I make sure this is in my range bag every single time I go. Even when I went up to the clandestine testing facility with Walter Keller, and I brought this up, we had a ball shooting this thing. It is fun. I am super excited to shoot this suppressed too, just because how the gas system is. But it's so fun because I can get AR mechanics. Yes, it's taking Glock mags, but I can get the manipulation of working the safety, or I can enjoy shooting my Geisley triggers. I can have it fold to where it's a little bit more compact. Just shooting this gun in general is just a fun experience where you don't have to have this tactical purpose, or you need to be a tier 1 operator, so why would you use a 9mm carbine? That's not why I wanted to pick this gun up. It's a fun gun to shoot, but also this can serve as a competition rifle. I would have no problem, and I'm really excited to get into USPSA PCC, and this is the gun I'm going to use. I already have the trigger I want. I have an amazing optic. I have all my points of contact. And one thing I also did notice when I shoot this, though, maybe it's just because of the stock. I'm not going to show any pictures, but when I shoot this, I get a little bit of a burn, like a bruise here. Maybe it's just because of how, abrupt the rear of this Midwest Industries triangle stock is. But it hurt. I got in the shower yesterday. I'm like, oh, damn, I got a mark on my shoulder. It's like I shot like a high-powered rifle. But I think it's just how that stock is built. I might change it out later on to like a JMac Customs, or even, upgrade to like a Strike Industries, something. I don't know. The handguard I love is long enough to where I don't need to, if I really wanted to put sights on there, I can. That's also doesn't come with sights from the factory, but 1913 up front and back on the upper. So if you want to put your like Magpul M-Bus, or like your Knights Armament, if you have Knights Armament sights, or Troy, whatever sights they have, you can put them on here. You have M-Lock all the way around, so I can put all the doodads and whatever I want on it. 1/2x28 thread. That is a key. 1/2x28 doesn't have a dumb BS 13x1 left hand or 18x1 European right. I don't know. It's 1/2x28. Industry standard. Knocked it out of the park. This gun is just so fun to shoot. And again, it's right side charging handle, so you can actually take, if you're an AK shooter, which I really enjoy shooting AKs, you can get the manipulation of dropping the mag, putting in, and then under the, under your rifle, and just kind of lock it back. This gun is awesome. The only other thing I've noticed when shooting it is I'm so used to having guns that lock back on the last round fired. This rifle does not lock back on the last round fired, as you've seen as all the shooting footage we've done in the video. But also the fact that it has the ability to take hollow point ammunition. As you can see from the shooting footage, I did just run a mag of the 130 grain hollow point ammunition from Black Belt Ammo. That is my hollow point of choice. They sent me a good amount of ammo before I moved to Florida, and I started shooting it, and it really performed well in a lot of my carry guns. So that's why I kind of just adopted it as my defensive load of choice. They're made in Pennsylvania. It's great ammo. It's great ammo, and it's affordable. So I go check out Black Belt. I have no like discount code or anything like that. It's the ammo I use to carry and defend myself with, and it's great performing ammo, as you can see. Now, another reason why I wanted to make sure it ran ammunition like hollow points or defensive loads is because since it takes Glock mags, the BC9 can be considered a perfect pair. Most of the guns I carry, on very few occasions when I am still carrying my 365X, I'm carrying a Glock pattern mag. So whether it's my dagger, my Glock 19, anything, or if I start upgrading to a 17 or a Glock 45, it's gonna take that magazine. So I can run a Glock magazine and you get that perfect pair. Kind of how back in the day when cowboys would carry a 45 long Colt revolver and then their carbine would also be chambered in 45 long Colt. I get extra velocity out of the 9mm, but also it has the magazine compatibility, so I don't have to worry about carrying separate mags and separate ammo. I can run a 9mm in my car, have my carry piece on me, so if something really happens and I run out of ammo, I can have the same magazines on me. So I really like that concept, and I think Bear Creek Arsenal knocked it out of the park with that. So if you're able to shoot some defensive loads out of your carbine, I really would recommend it, because I would consider this, I could use this as home defense. I could use this for life and liberty, competition, you name it. It's able to take a wide variety of ammunition. But when it comes down to it, would I buy it with my own money? 100% yes. This is probably the first gun I've shot in a while that I look forward to shooting every time I go to the range. Like, even if I'm working on, just say if I'm working on like my pistol skills, I'll bring this to the range and I'll run a couple mags through it because it's just fun to shoot. You don't need to have a tactical purpose for every gun. Every gun you buy doesn't need to be this CQB battle test. No, you don't need that. You can have a fun carbine you can take to the range. I can give this to anybody that's never shot a gun before, have them the basic mechanical function and let them understand how the gun works. And they can have a fun time shooting this. I could give this to my mother who's not really into she's into shooting, but she doesn't shoot guns a lot. She can shoot this and have a fun time. You can give this to a child, as long as the child is old enough and has the maturity to understand the idea of firearms. People that are learning to shoot can use a gun like this. So this solves many purposes, and for the price that it comes in, for around $500, you really can't beat it. They're able to get it direct to consumer. You go to Bear Creek Arsenal, they have it shipped to your FFL, and it's a wonderful, wonderful gun. Yes, it doesn't come with a magazine, you have to get your own stock, so it's not that hard to kind of get up and running. They also make a pistol version of this. I believe it's like a 10.5-inch barrel, maybe an 8-inch barrel version. Same Bufferless design. You can put a pistol brace on it, or if you wanted to SBR it, that would also be pretty cool. But if it were my money, I would definitely buy it. If you guys want to pick up one of these, I'll leave a link to this in the affiliates page. This model is out of stock at the moment, but they're working their ass off. Check out Bear Creek Arsenal. I 100% would check it out. I am super happy that they wanted to send this to me, and big shout out to Chris from the 740, because if I didn't become friends with him, I would have never had the connection to Bear Creek. So big thanks to my buddy Chris. Check his channel out, doing amazing things. But not only because, yeah, they sent me a rifle, Bear Creek Arsenal is a company that they care about the everyday American. And they care about getting people armed, and they actually have their own YouTube channel. It's really informative. They go over a lot of the guns they make, but also they're gun people like us. They understand. Like, if I ever had the opportunity to do a factory tour, Bear Creek Arsenal would be probably the top 3 of companies I'd like to tour their factory, because they're just good, hardworking Americans at the end of the day. So I do want to thank Bear Creek Arsenal for taking a chance on me and sending this out. I absolutely love it. You guys seem to love it. Every time I post it, this gun gets a ton of views. So if you want to pick up one of these, check out the affiliates page. I'll have a link over there. And if you want to get stuff like, Gideon Optic, fattack.com, that's where you can get all our exclusive merch and a bunch of other stuff like Gideon Optics, like medical gear, belts, flashlights. It's a one-stop shop, so check it out. Plate carriers for bigger dudes. Check out Fattack. But guys, if you have any questions, comment down below. Make sure you subscribe. I really would appreciate it. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers. As always, stay safe, stay shooting, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.